Do you wish that you could get out and spend more time in nature? Do you wish that there was more nature out there to spend time in? Well, in today's video, you are going to get to spend a little bit of virtual time in nature at Koala Gardens with one of our gorgeous residential koalas that we all know and love, the great big boy Valentine. I'm Katrina, and I love bringing you into Koala Gardens to get to know more about what it's like in the world koalas live in. Look at Valentine bellowing out his presence to the whole bush. Come on in with me and let's enjoy to see what he's got to show us today. You can join me over on Patreon. You can buy calendars, you can adopt koalas and find all kinds of ways to help what I'm doing and to get all kinds of beautiful merchandise and perks. And I want to acknowledge the Widjabul Waiable people of the Bundjalung Nation, on whose land I live, work and play. Now let's get in and see some koalas and talk koalas, because that's what we're really here to see and find out more about, because there's just never enough koala, even in my world. Can you see that dark scent gland on Valentine's chest there? It's not huge. Now, what we always have is males that live within the colony, and there's a hierarchy of them. I'd like to think that Valentine behaves like an alpha male, but he still doesn't have a really big, well-developed scent gland that looks like it's being rubbed all over the trees in the way an alpha male does. So I'm still not sure what his position is in the big scheme of things. But whatever it is, just take a look there at how well Valentine, like every koala, can just sprawl on a tree branch, making it feel like it is the softest bed you can even ever imagine sleeping in. And he's just out for the count while there's a beautiful breeze blowing up there in the tops of the trees. He's at least 20 meters up a tree, so he's a fair way off the ground, and he's holding on with his left hand, but he's really just pretty much draped over that branch and allowing himself to sleep. He kept on sleeping like this for quite a while, and I often set the camera up on a tripod to film the koalas, because when they're asleep you just never know how long they're going to sleep for. But you can see he's just waking up a little bit, not fully awake, just awake enough to go, I might just change position a bit. It's a little bit like, kind of rolling over in bed and changing position. Big yawn, head down, and it looks like he's not going to fully wake up. He's going to just have a few yawns and go back to sleep. I think that little patch on his cheek was literally just from having been kind of wedged against the branch. You can see that there's quite a breeze blowing up there now too, and he is taking absolutely no notice of that breeze whatsoever, because koalas are what we call arboreal animals, which means they're designed to live up in the treetops. So this means that they are very much used to the breeze blowing the branches around. And we find that if I observe mother koalas with their little babies, it's like the babies learn from a really young age, right from inside the pouch, that even when they're blowing about, mum is relaxed, and so baby relaxes. And that means that you could say they are born without a fear of being tossed about by branches blowing in the breeze. If you look closely, you can notice that this time, with the way he's curled up to go back to sleep, he's not even actually physically holding onto a branch with those clawed hands or feet in any way. He has literally just wedged himself into that little fork shape and has gone back to sleep. It never ceases to amaze me how comfortable koalas are up in the treetops, even though I understand that they are arboreal, that they're made for this. It is just amazing to think. I mean, I know that I would give a little jerk and kind of jump and fall out of the tree, but somehow koalas just know how to relax completely into a well wedged space and keep on sleeping right on through. Sometimes, of course, a big gust of wind does come and, dislodges them a little bit, and they do give a jump and grab hold. And often at that point, that wakes them up enough that they then kind of shift about a little bit and start holding on. But you can see that he's in a fairly sturdy branch shape there in the trees, and some of the other thinner branches that are around him are blowing about more in the breeze, while his branch is not really moving very often. So he obviously feels completely stable. There it goes. It's moved a little bit now, but none of that kind of movement is going to be enough to wake him up when he's sleeping deeply. All of the video I put out on YouTube is completely free, but if you would like to help me cover the costs of my camera equipment, internet connection, my time taking the videos and processing them, it's really easy to just use the super thanks button below, and you can throw as little as $2 in, because every little bit helps, and I appreciate every person who gets behind me to help what I'm doing here both to save our koalas and to bring them to you. Because there is really something satisfying, isn't there, about spending time with nature. Now, I'm lucky because I live out here with the koalas, but I know that a lot of people live in large cities, in apartment buildings, have to work jobs that are inside buildings, and they just don't get the opportunity to get out amongst nature with anything like the frequency that they would like to. So, while it's not the same as being out amongst nature, I hope that you find that it does just re-energize your spirit a little bit to be able to get some opportunity to be amongst the koalas with me. Valentine has been living at Koala Gardens for well over a year now, and he moves around a lot and he covers quite a wide area, which is behaviour that I certainly do attribute to an alpha male normally. But I'm still not sure where his position is in things. I've got some great video that you're going to love seeing next month concerning Valentine and maybe a girl koala. But also, you would be aware if you've been watching other social media that there is another big male that I've been seeing come onto the property who has now been named Maverick. Maverick is bigger than Valentine, and it's really hard to see there, and often I don't get a clear look at him, but I can tell he's got a much bigger scent gland, and I suspect that Maverick is real alpha male material. So it's going to be really interesting to see if anything ensues between Maverick and Valentine, because they often on the property at the same time, but never in the same area. Look at how high up Maverick is in that tree. I'm really interested to see what ends up coming out of this. Now, there have been times when I have had two alpha males who use the property, but they always use different areas of the property each. So you don't have two alpha males inhabiting the same colony area, but there's lots of reasons where two alpha males might have their own colony area and there's just the tiniest overlap of one of the boundaries, because they have to move all the time to get around the colony, be checking on things, marking trees, checking on the females, making sure there aren't other big koalas that are trying to use the place all the time. But they can only be in one tree at any one time. And so the edges of their territory can just slightly overlap with another male. So it's going to be really interesting over the next little while to watch, because I'm seeing Maverick on the property usually about 2 days a week for a few weeks now. So that's not very much. But the fact that he does seem to keep looping back and he's only using a certain part of the property makes me think that maybe there's a new alpha male taking over some territory, or maybe he is just going to use part of the property. Whatever it is, it's one of the things I love the most is I don't tell the koalas what to do. These are wild koalas and they are living their life the way they need to. And I'm just observing, recording, and having the best time getting to know them as they do that, and bringing it to you and being able to tell the stories back to you. I hope that you've enjoyed some time at Koala Gardens today, getting to know a little bit more about Valentine and about male koalas in general. Please do make sure you've smashed that like button, that you are subscribed to my channel, and feel free to share this out. And guess what? You've done it. You have made it to the end of yet another Koala Gardens video. So would you please take a moment to write in the comments below, "Sleep tight, Valentine." Thanks so much for watching. There's more great video coming your way from Koala Gardens. Another way that you can support Koala Gardens is by buying all of your gifts for friends, especially with Christmas coming up, from Redbubble. There's lots of beautiful designs, many of them, on at least 60 different types of merchandise over there. Do check it out. Don't forget, there's also the Koala Gardens 2024 calendars and the Adventures of Miss books. So there's lots of ways to help your friends learn more about koalas and give the best gifts ever. Koala Gardens has a Patreon, and I love being able to share exclusive news, stories, and merchandise with you. Go check it out. There's a link in the description below.